Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Carrie and today is December 14th. I did not vlog this week, so I just want to do a quick overview of the books that I read, and then I'm going to get in and we're going to do a book haul as well because I don't have enough books apparently. So, alright, I want to go ahead and start off with the first book that I read this last week, which was The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I have been wanting to read a Mariana Zapata book for the last year, and I have just been a little nervous to read it because everybody has been obsessed over Mariana Zapata. All of my romance friends have just loved Mariana Zapata, and it made me a little nervous to start reading it, I won't lie. I finally went ahead and did it, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. It was a 4-star read to me, not a 5, and there's a very specific reason why it was not 4 stars. I loved the writing style, I loved the book, I loved the slow pace, the slow burn in it. I knew that going in, and I knew kind of what to expect. I love the fact that it was based around football because I am a huge football fan. I mean, come on, let's go, Boomer Sooner, we're in the top 4. But, and also, you know, I have a love for Baker Mayfield, so I am a Cleveland Browns fan, even though I still think it is the funniest thing in the world when Baker decided to plant that flag in Ohio State. Loved it. Okay, so anyway, enough talk about football. I really enjoyed this book, but it was not a 5-star book for me because I felt like it missed its mark. There was a very specific thing in this book that I recognized, and the main guy in this book is he doesn't form connections. He doesn't have any close friends. He doesn't have any relationships with women. He hadn't even had sex since like high school, not even like a fling or anything. And he's like this major football player, star, athlete, like the best of the best, but he has no connections with friends or family or anything. And even with a broken past, that doesn't mean that he shouldn't have any type of connections. And there was no discussion of mental illness in this book. I felt like it missed its mark because that would have been a very good subject to bring up because he had a mental illness. I mean, he really did. And it wasn't discussed in this book, and I felt like that was a really sad decision because I thought that could have made this book easily the best book of the year that I had read, but because it did not discuss that at all, I mean, it talked about him and not having connections, but there was no real resolution as to him changing or trying to be a different person. It missed its mark for me. So it was a 4-star. I really enjoyed the romance in it, but I felt like it could have been better. The next book that I picked up was The Trouble with Love by Claire Contreras. This was the first book that I've read by this author as well. This was another indie author that I'd heard a lot about and was nervous to start. And unfortunately, I didn't enjoy this book very much. It was just okay to me. It was a 3-star. It was utterly forgettable. I love the trope of the brothers' best friend is the guy that she ends up with, and like I love that trope. I think that is so, there's something so good about forbidden love. Like I've got a sweet spot for forbidden love, and this book was utterly forgettable to me. I did not connect with the characters. I didn't enjoy this one at all. I won't even lie, I don't even know if I remember what this book was about. Like, I actually had to go to Goodreads and read the quick synopsis of it just to remember what this book was about. That's how forgettable it was because I just read it like 5 days ago. It is about a girl who has an older brother who is in the NFL, and he's very protective of his little sister. She is kind of a tech genius. She creates apps and stuff, and one day whenever she is like 22 or 23, she goes to a bar, sees this guy who's drunk and gorgeous. They have a one-night stand, and it's the best sex of her life. And then it's a year later, and she goes to work for this company. It's her brother's best friend's company that she goes to work for, and of course, the owner of the company is the guy that she has a one-night stand with, and it is their love story. Like I said, I love this trope. Normally, I'm a sucker for this kind of book. I didn't connect with the characters at all. There was just nothing there that I liked. And apparently, a lot of other people felt that way because there was a lot of very similar reviews. But I've heard wonderful things about this author, and I'm going to definitely give her another try. So the next book that I completed was Special Delivery by Lauren Blakely. This was an audiobook. It was a super quick novella, kind of an audiobook that had a full cast. I gave the overall audiobook was 3 stars. The actual plot and the book itself was 2 stars. Let me explain. So the book, I really enjoyed the different cast of characters. I liked listening to all of their voices. The storyline was so fucking stupid. It was a Christmas little novella, and I knew it was going to be cheesy going in. Don't get me wrong, I totally understood that. It was Hallmark cheesy. It was about a girl who, and this is another brother's best friend. She's an event planner. Her brother half owns a company with this guy who is also, I believe, an ex-NFL player. And he is, I didn't even realize that I read 3 books that had NFL players in 1 week. So anyway, her brother owns a company with his best friend, and she has never met her brother's best friend before. While she's planning the event, they have this immediate instant connection and chemistry, and they hit it off. And within like a couple of weeks, they're together and they're having this big thing. But this guy that she's seeing, he is actually moving. So they have this thing for a couple of months, and then he's supposed to move, and that's supposed to be it. She ends up getting pregnant, and there's that whole trope, and I couldn't stand it. So anyway, 2 stars. But the reason why I gave it 3 stars for the audiobook is because at the end, they have a discussion with Andy Arndt and the other audiobook readers, and they have a blooper reel at the end that is just so funny that I had to give it 3 stars because I was cracking up laughing listening to that. If you want something quick and fun to listen to at the end of Special Delivery, if you have the Audible escapes, it's hilarious. The last book that I completed this week is Dirty Letters by V. Keelan and Penelope Ward. Love this author duo. This was another 4-star book for me. This is so cute. I swooned so hard for these characters. Oh my goodness. It is so good. Okay, so it is about a girl and guy from the time they were in 2nd grade. They were each other's pen pals. The guy lives in England, girl lives in the United States, and they write letters back and forth to each other from literally the time they're in 2nd grade until they are about 18 years old, 17 or 18 years old. And then the girl just completely stops all communication with the guy, quits writing to him. And about 8 years after they quit communication, the guy gets drunk one night and writes her a letter and is basically saying, "You suck. Why did you just quit writing to me?" And she finds this letter and she writes back and she explains the reason why she quits writing, and it has to do with mental illness in it. And the rep was so good for this book. So good. It was a 4-star read because it kind of got a little depressing. The mental rep and the mental illness rep in this book was so good, but it was almost too hard hitting. This love story became a little depressing, and that's the reason why I gave it 4 stars. I know it's a little nitpicky thing, but it's still a really good read. I highly recommend. V. Keelan and Penelope Ward are my very favorite author duo ever. I will literally buy everything they write. It doesn't matter. As soon as it comes out, they're on my auto buy list. Every single book that I've picked up from them has been at least a 4-star for me. I truly love this author duo. If you haven't given them a chance, please do so. And what I'm currently reading is The Savior by J.R. Ward. I'm 167 pages in. I waited until my birthday week to start this book. I have 3 books to finish by J.R. Ward, and I'm going to read them back to back. I am loving the series, of course. It's been one of my favorite series since 2010. I adore the Black Dagger Brotherhood books so much, and I love it. What can I say? I'm a huge fan of J.R. Ward. She's my very favorite author of all time. Okay, now that I've gotten all of the books that I read out of the way, should we go ahead and start the book haul portion of this video? So yesterday on my birthday, I decided to go to Half Price Books, and they had 15% off my entire purchase, so I went ahead and picked up several things. The first 3 books that I picked up are all in the same series. I've never heard of this author or the series, but it looks like it's really good. It's called The Motor City Royals. There's Dirty for Me, Sin for Me, and Wrong for Me. I believe Wrong for Me is the first book in it, and it's about a guy who gets out of prison, and I guess his best friend is a girl that he's like in love with, and he's coming after her, and yeah. So apparently the dude's rich. She's a tattoo artist. I believe this is going to be kind of like a motorcycle club type of a series. It looked really good, and these books were like less than $5 a piece, so I went ahead and picked them up. The next book I picked up in Half Price Books is Charlotte Stein, I bet you that's it. It's called Control. And this book it says, torn between 2 men, only one can make her lose control. This is supposed to be like a BDSM book. And I won't lie, I haven't read 50 Shades of Grey. I read the first book, and then I got like halfway through the second book, and I put it down because it was awful and I just couldn't finish it. So I haven't actually read something that is like super heavy into BDSM before, and this looked good, so picked it up. Why not? They say it's supposed to be really good. We'll see. And the last book I picked up at Half Price Books, I found Falling Away by Penelope Douglas. I own almost all of Penelope Douglas's collection, and I, for some reason, didn't have this book, so I saw it, and it's in like perfect shape, and so I went ahead and got it. Then I went to Goodwill, and I found one book. Yes. I found one book at Goodwill, and that is When We Caught Fire by Anna Goodberson? What in the world? How the hell do you say this? Anna Godberson. Okay. One book, and it's called When We Caught Fire by Anna I cannot say this name for the fucking life of me. Anna Godberson? I think that's how you say it. Probably just butchered it. Okay, so anyway, it says, a love that cannot be contained, a friendship in flames, the love triangle that ignited Chicago's Great Fire. So this book is based around the 1870s. And of course, I know about the Chicago Great Fire. It's like super popular and heard of, but this is supposed to be like a fiction story about a love triangle that is supposed to have caught it on fire. So it looked super cute. I've never heard of it, but it's got a pink spine, and it looked really good. And I mean, seriously, it's got a pink spine. I wanted the book. After that, I decided to go to thrift books online, and I ordered a crap ton of books because why not? The first book I picked up was Maybe Not by Colleen Hoover. I have almost her entire collection as well, and I was able to find this at a decent price, so I went ahead and picked it up to complete my collection. I haven't actually read the Maybe Someday series, but I'm going to soon, and I wanted to go ahead and pick this book up for it. The next book I picked up was Shacking Up by Helena Hunting, and I've heard good things about this author. I did read Meet Cute, and I really enjoyed that book, so decided to go ahead and pick this one up as well. The next book I got was Stepbrother Dearest by Penelope Ward. I have read this book before. I am a sucker for stepbrother type books. Any kind of taboo romance I like. I don't know why. I guess, I don't know. because my life is extra boring, and so whenever I read, I want my books to be extra hot. Who knows? Anyway, I really enjoyed this book, so I decided to go ahead and own a copy of it. The last two books that I picked up by Thrift Books are from the same author. I've never actually read a book by this author. I've heard wonderful things about her, though. The first one is Love, Chloe by Alexandra Torrey. No clue what this book's about, but the cover's really cute, and I picked it up. And the last book I picked up from Thrift Books is another Alexandra Torrey book. This one is Moonshot, and I really have been wanting to read this one for quite a while. Obviously, this is a baseball romance. I've heard a lot of really good things about it, so I got it. I also picked up at Thrift Books, I did pick up Sid by Teresa Gableman. I'm wanting this whole collection, and I'm trying to slowly collect them, but unfortunately, it came damaged. And like the pages are all like starting to rip off now, and so I contacted them and got my money back for this one, and I'm gonna have to reorder this book in a better condition. It was supposed to be in like new, but that is definitely not like new condition. And the last book that I have on this book haul, I went on Amazon and bought right after I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, because it was not on Kindle Unlimited. I've heard such good things about this book, and that is Culty by Mariana Zapata. This clunker was 20 bucks, and I spent it because I really wanted to read it, and if I was going to have to spend money on a book, I wanted it to be a physical book and not an ebook, so I went ahead and picked up the physical copy of Culty, and I cannot wait to get started. This book is going to be the next physical book I read after I finish my Black Dagger Brotherhood books. So anyway, that is what I have read and what I have purchased. I am literally running out of room. I've got to quit buying. I say that, and then I'm going to go on Thrift Books or something later on today, and I'll be buying more books. I can't quit buying. I've got to learn how to stop. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for everybody who's wished me a happy birthday. I really appreciate it. I will update you guys very soon again.